Okay, Bill.
Okay, good evening, everybody. The meeting already started, and I will be serving as the chairman. My name is Mayra Lantigua, and to my left is Ron Martin and Leo Paulino, and Sean Conway is the lieutenant. Bill is on the camera, and Patricia Waters is our secretary. And the next meeting on the agenda will be July 24th, and I won't be here, unfortunately. But Ron will be serving as the chairman. And I will need the motion to accept the minutes of last meeting or June 12th.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the meeting of June 12th.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the first item on the agenda is a one-day permit, all alcohol for Corpus Christi. It's the two-day license for August 10 and August 11. Anybody here? Your name and address for the record, please.
Antonio Andrade at 7 Morway Drive, Londonderry, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And license for the August 10th and 11th.
And do you know how many people are you expecting approximately?
250, 300. I mean, it kind of varies year to year, depends on the weather.
Okay.
It's going to be outside.
Okay, and are you gonna have a police officer?
Yes,
Okay,
They always do.
yeah.
okay. And you know that,
Liquor is bought by the distributor, yep.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I will need a motion to accept the license.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Good
All
luck.
set? Thank you.
And the next item is 3 applications for Jay Bryant's
You too.
for
Thank you
July
very much.
27, August 30th, and September 21st.
Good evening. My name is Jay Bryan in Cropera, and I own Jay Bryan's Pub and Grill, 615 South Union Street. And it's kind of the same thing every year. That pig roast is our 5th pig roast, and the men's day, which is kind of a golf outing, is August 30th, the last Friday of August. The third thing is a fundraiser that we're doing to help the poor people in Africa. We're gonna have a couple of trailer trucks backed in there and just looking for clothing and stuff like that. It's my ex-wife's friend from the hospital. We're kind of getting together and trying to help someone else, pay it forward type thing, that's all.
Okay, and you know all the rules and...
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I will need a motion to accept the, to grant the license.
I'll make a motion, we grant the 3 license days.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Good luck in your fundraising.
Thanks, Jay.
The next item is an all-alcohol application for Miranda Restaurant LLC. It's a new application.
Good evening, Madam Commissioner, members of the board. My name is Sal Tabit. I'm an attorney with a law practice at 45 Osgood Street in Methuen, and I represent Miranda Restaurant LLC. This is an application that comes before you, even though it's new, as a second time. Miss Anna Maria Aguillo, who is present with me today, is the managing member of this LLC, but she was before this board before, and had applied for a liquor license before this board, and it was approved. This was the old, what was formerly known as the Capitol Grill on Broadway, and Ms. Aguillo and her husband, Mr. Aguillo, who also a member of this LLC, were before you. And at that time, she had applied for the liquor license individually. This was a matter that had gone before the zoning board, and it was approved for alcohol sales. It had certain conditions with the approval of the license if it were to be approved by this board, and that was all sorted out at that time. When it went to the ABCC in Boston, and this was prior to Ms. Aguillo retaining my services, she had applied she came before this board on her own, and she filled out the application on her own, and she actually filled out the application for herself individually. Well, when it went before the ABCC, a couple of issues arose, mainly that she is involved in this business with her husband, which she has every right to do, but yet she had not disclosed him on that application because she had applied for it individually. And so they have joint money, as most married couples do. They're involved in this venture and business together, but he was sort of outside of the purview of the application because she had applied individually. That became a problem for the ABCC, and it was at that point that Mr. and Mrs. Aguirre came to me and retained my services. I then immediately called the ABCC, explained what the actual situation was, and it was their recommendation, along with mine, that that initial application individually be withdrawn, and there is a letter in the application, in the package that I've submitted, withdrawing that previous application by Ms. Aguirre individually, and then to form a corporate entity or a business entity, which we have done as an LLC, and then resubmit the application, the same application, with the same information, except as an LLC disclosing Mr. Aguirre obviously is an interested party. And so that's what we have done today. So while it's technically a new application, it's been before you before, and you've approved it, along with the conditions that were imposed by the Zoning Board of Appeals, which my clients are aware of. They've always been aware of that, and more than willing to comply with those conditions.
Okay. I had no issues with the business. Do you have any concern?
No, this was actually just, from what I understand from the ABCC, when I've talked to them, and Pat and I have seen paperwork going back and forth for them, that this was just simply a manner of administrative stuff, just turning, I have no problem with that. I know the ZBA's got some issues, but I talked to Attorney to be, and they're gonna deal with it there.
Okay.
Is the one that you went for to check it out, the parking and stuff?
No, this is on South Broadway.
And there have been no issues since they started the business?
No, they have no issues at all. Remember, that was an area right down by the fire department. I guess that's a little bit of an issue where Crosby Street is one way, and they're concerned with some parking, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a nightclub. It seems like it's a restaurant, so, it was just, right now, just a matter of time of,
They've been open as a restaurant
right,
during this period
Yeah,
of
yeah,
time,
no, I
so.
and there's absolutely no problems.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we grant the application of Miranda Restaurant LLC.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
The next item is the Border Market. It's an application for wine and malt package store at 651 on Broadway. Actually,
Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. Salim Tabit again for the Border Market LLC, again with an office at 45 Osgood Street, Methuen. This is an entirely new application, which you have not heard before, and it's an application for beer and wine. The location of this, of the premises here is 651 Broadway Street, which appears to be one of the last, if not the last, building in Lawrence, because while we attempted to notify abutters, there are no abutters, Lawrence abutters, known through the assessor's office. So it's really down the end of
Right there by
Broadway.
Malden Mills, right on the other side of Charlie's Diner. It's way
Mr. Perez, who's here, who's the managing member of this company, is an individual who comes before this board with a tremendous amount of experience. He and his partner have had a liquor license in Brookline on Thorndike Street for many years. He's been the managing member of that entity, and the manager of that license has had no issues. And in this particular instance, it is a property that's not even complete yet, and I would recommend that you take a drive down Broadway because they're doing an extensive amount of work. In fact, they're taking the building, which is a first floor front with a higher elevation in the back, and making a completely new facade to the building, making it 2 levels with a market on the bottom and office space up top. It's coming out very well, and the work that's been gone into it, I think is impressive, and I recommend that you take a look down there. But again, it's a market, it's a beer and wine license, there's one available, there are really no abutters, there are no schools or churches or synagogues, within the required dimensions that we could see. There have been no neighbors that have had a problem with the work or with this license, because again, we had to post it in the newspaper, and I ask respectfully that you consider the application.
yeah, I had no,
You have any comments?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, we're sending him something, I'm sending the investigator, Jason, a little something on my text. No, I don't have any problems. This is very far out. This is on the line. This is more right on the Methuen problem. I don't see a problem up there. It's an area where the Wyman Whitman Street area. I don't think Chelmsford Street area will be really impacted, so we have no problem within the police department.
Members of the board, if I may approach briefly, this is the plan that they have, but just so you can take a look at the type of work that they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a single level, and again, it's gonna be a marker on the bottom. They've been there working now for, I think, several weeks. if not
6
more than
months,
that.
6 months.
Is it the old greenhouse, Sal?
Yeah, it was like an old, I don't know if you remember the old Redemption Center. It used to be like a bottles and cans. They used to buy like cans.
The Redemption Center.
Oh, the Redemption Center, it's the old Cumberland
Oh,
Farm.
yeah, I know where it
You know where it is, Ronnie, right there. I thought it was the old flower place. All right, okay.
So we extended it like 24 feet.
That's definitely set back, yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a
Okay.
problem. You certainly do. I'm very familiar, I was an old Wyman Whitman Street guy, so
Part, which is,
very interested.
yeah, it's in the application.
There's no issues. I will need a motion to accept the license.
Okay, I'll
grant.
make a motion, we accept the application of the Border Market for a beer and wine license.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
The next item is J. Frias LLC DBA Amable Liquor Store.
You're on a tear tonight, Sal, huh?
Back again.
It's
This
like we're
is,
back in district court and he's the OPA.
this is my last one.
I'm a guy, just, you know, we went
busy.
through the ropes together the other night. Funny.
Good evening again, Salim Tabit for J. Frias LLC, with an office at 45 Osgood Street, Methuen. Now, this is an application, members of the board, and Madam Chairwoman, that you're, I think, all familiar with. This is a Jackson Street property, the old Garcia Liquors. And if you recall, if you've been around there lately, that liquor store was essentially abandoned. There were all sorts of legal issues with it, and as a result, the property was abandoned, run down. It was a real mess over there, and if I'm not mistaken, this board actually had to vote to revoke that license, or take that license back, because it was simply abandoned, and there was no way to get in touch with the owner. The board, I know, the secretary had tried, and no one knew where this gentleman was. Well, my clients, J. Frias LLC, and Ms. Joanne Frias, who's the managing member and only member of that LLC, managed to track down the owners. I represented them in the purchase. Johnny Frias is now the owner of that particular property. And so we're asking for a package store license just as it was there before and has been for many, many years. Ms. Frias has another license in the city on Jackson Street as well. It's a market, it's a beer and wine license. Again, J. Frias LLC, that she's the member. And we've had no issues with this board. I think it's been a couple of years now. ¿Cuántos años? It's been 2 years since she's had that business. There have been no issues either here or in Boston. I don't want to, I think Lieutenant Conway has some issues with the property site itself, and I'll let him address that. But once he's addressed it and I've responded to that, I'd ask that you consider.
Is there any issues regarding zoning or anything like that, or?
There isn't, because it has been, I don't know if previously there was, but this is an existing location with had an existing license. Therefore, because this application is being submitted to the board within a year of that license being active, even if there were future zoning considerations, they don't apply to Ms. Frias or J. Frias LLC, and I believe that everyone has signed off on that, including inspectional services.
Yes, everyone has signed on,
Zone, I mean, everything?
yes.
Okay,
The real problem is, I got a lot of calls once Mr. Garcia kind of just, he had some issues and he was dealing with that, and he just let it go. But the property was very blight. It was boarded up. There was just some quick not sheetrock, but plywood put over it. It looked horrible. So I've talked to Attorney Tabit at length about this, and I've talked to the neighbors that have called me and spoken to me about this over several months. They are planning on cleaning the whole area up. It's got plenty of parking. There's really no parking on the street. It's more of a guy walks in, gets what he needs, a woman walks in, get what they need, and off they go. And there's plenty of parking. If you're looking at the parking's to the left-hand side. So as long as it's cleaned up, Sal, you know what? It's an existing license. It's been there, Mr. Garcia held it for a long, long time, so I don't see a problem.
To Lieutenant Conway's point, right after this purchase, which was probably about a month ago, I think, they started immediately to clean up. And I
Oh, they
think
did?
that there are several people
good.
who have driven by there who can attest to the job they're doing there. In fact, I think lights went up just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And so they're working now on the inside. So I think that they've been in compliance with all of that, including the building code and building inspectors. They're in the process of cleaning up the property. Certainly, if what they're doing isn't sufficient for Lieutenant Conway's liking or the board's liking, then certainly we can talk, and they'll do anything that they need to clean that up. But it's going to go back to an existing package store, as it always has been, except I think this time cleaned up and at least much more presentable to the city.
Yeah, did we get any communications regarding this from the council, any of the city councilors?
No.
Because I did get a call, and he had some issues with it, and he was going to write a letter, he said. I didn't even know what the issues were, and,
No.
The only issues I got,
Was the
Mr.
cleanliness
Martin, were,
and the abandonment
people,
of the...
yeah, it was abandoned, and they thought that there might have still been alcohol in there, but I checked, I talked to the distributors, everything was picked up and taken out, the whole 9 yards, so. And then Attorney Tabeek contacted me several months ago saying he had an interested client, and I said, I want the place cleaned up, and, they went at it. And I'll check it before they open, which I always do.
Yeah.
I always go through, I make sure that everything is right, things are squared away, so kids can't get at alcohol and things like that, and we go from there.
Okay. Any other questions, or? Okay, anybody would like to speak about it, or against it, in favor? Okay, if no concerns or questions, I will need the motions to grant the license then.
all right, I'll make a motion, we grant the application.
All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good evening. My job here is done, I think. I'll talk to you
It's like
soon.
being back in the
Have a
rain,
nice summer.
Old Common Street. We used to work, if you were the DA, you would bring the people up, Sal would try to get as many cases as he could. Many moons ago, buddy, many moons ago.
The next item is a reconsideration for MIR Inc., Attorney Estrella. Anybody here? Okay. No, MIR.
MIR.
Attorney Estrella,
No, she's not
okay?
here.
Why did she show up, Pat? She's done this before to us.
You know, she was on the list. We've already discussed this.
Should we table it?
Yes, because the requirement is from the ABC that they
Right.
come back before the board.
Okay, I will need the motion to table this
I'll
item.
make the motion to table MIR Incorporated.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. For the next meeting. And the next is a common victualler, Ashanti Coffee and Deli.
This is the former...
Good evening. My name is Paula Reyes. I open restaurant in the city for Como Street.
Okay. Are you gonna be the owner?
Yes.
Okay. And Winston?
Yeah, my
Yes,
husband.
we
Are
are.
you? Okay. So, that's 54 Common Street.
64.
64?
Yes.
6'4"?
Or 64?
Yes, it's 474, that's the name, and that's the building.
Where is,
It's right next to
Mofongo.
Centro.
yeah, that's the chicken place.
Right, used to be Mofongo Restaurant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, used to be Mofongo, so actually it's gonna be the same building, we're just changing the name.
Okay.
And what are you gonna be having? It said coffee and deli.
Coffee and deli, yeah, we're gonna be like sandwiches. He knows me from before, from Deborah Goria Clock Tower Cafe.
Right.
So we're gonna be making sandwiches and some Latino food as well.
Okay.
What would your hours be? You open 7 days a week, or?
Yeah, not 7 days a week, like I was discussing with Patty. On Saturday, we're gonna be opening just for a couple hours after sunset, and Sunday pretty much all day. And Monday to Friday, I would say 7 to 7.
7 to 7?
Okay. Any questions?
Got any questions?
I know exactly where it is.
Okay, I make a motion, we grant the common victual license to Asante Coffee and Deli.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll have to give you a new license.
The next item is used cars, Adonai Auto and Truck Sales.
Yeah, because I put down 54 instead of 16. See you in the morning. All right, thank you. Okay.
Good evening, my name is Adriana Fernandez. I live at 26 Kelly Road in Salem, New Hampshire.
and I would like to get a license for a used car dealership here in Lawrence, 1131 Merrimack Street. Okay. Formerly Mill City Auto?
Exactly.
Okay. You have experience?
Yes,
with
I
that.
do.
Okay, do you have any questions?
Pat, did we run into problems with this 1131 Merrimack Street?
No,
We didn't get a call? Okay.
no, not on this one, no.
The place is
There's
closed
space for
right now.
75 cars, everything is okay.
Yeah, they're big, right? That's big in the back? Okay. I don't want any loud music. I don't want any radios being installed. I'm just telling you, because I know that was a complaint down there, and you know what? People have a right to enjoy themselves, and people have a right to make money in the city, but I'm not gonna let people do that to the detriment of other people, so I'm very concerned about some of these car places being put in, because I'm seeing that they're putting radios in, and next thing you know, they're playing music all day and all night long, and that's not the way to go. If you're gonna be selling cars and trucks, then will you do any repairs on the shop? Just picking stuff up at the auction, fixing them real quick? Okay, all right, no water, body work, no nothing like that.
Business next door.
Shalom Auto Sales?
Shalom Auto Sales.
Right, okay, okay, great. I'm just putting that out there. It's something that's come up several times since I've talked to people, so now you just happen to be the first couple that came in, so you guys are on the hot seat, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, if no questions, I will need the motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant the application for used car license for Adonai Auto and Truck Sales.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good night.
Keep it quiet.
Okay.
Are you sitting waiting for something? For then?
Are they new pet? No, I think he came in for a license.
What license are you here for?
For beautiful salon?
For beauty salon?
Yeah.
Beauty salons do not come through our office.
Sectional.
They come through the city
The
clerk
City Hall.
of inspectional services. I think you want,
They told him to come here on the 10th, that's why he's here, but they don't say where.
oh, no, we don't do beauty salons. Okay, sorry.
No, no, digo otra pregunta. Yo vengo por la licencia de Bertino Rochelle también.
He coming for the license of Bertinio
Rochelle.
Bertinios? No. No, I think Lieutenant Conway can address Bertinios.
What's that?
They want to know about Bertinios, but the papers have not been completed and submitted to you for reconsideration on Bertinios Auto Sales.
Bertino's is located where?
What is the street address for?
Ahora, en el 191 de la South Broadway.
He want to put it in 101, the
This-
South.
Brother.
South Union.
Yeah,
Yeah, now there's some issues down there.
no, the paperwork has not
Yeah,
been
you're
submitted
gonna
to
have wait.
to
You know that.
Lieutenant
He knows that,
Conway.
too.
¿Cómo es?
He don't,
No, we have to wait for the paperwork for the lieutenant to investigate.
Right.
¿Qué dice él?
yo lo voy a investigar y están esperando el papel.
Sí, yo quiero, permiso.
Talk
Cuídese.
when these things are off.
Yo quiero que me diga, pero que el señor, no, permiso. Perdón, te vaya.
I will need a motion to adjourn
I'll
to
make a
finish the
motion, we
meeting. right?
adjourn.
Fine, 7:30.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, puede venir ahora.
Okay.